On certain days and during certain weeks, it is what it is. And I'm going to talk about that on this segment of the Gig Geezer. If this is your first time checking out the Gig Geezer, if you're a returning visitor of the Gig Geezer, thanks for coming by. And if you would not mind, hit that subscribe button. Give my content a thumbs up. Share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. This segment of Gig Geezer has a format that is similar to this particular segment, and maybe some others, in which I'm at the end of my work week. At least it is a Sunday. And today it's Sunday, November 5th, 2023. The clocks have gone back an hour. And so for some of us, we actually got an extra hour of sleep, which is something that doesn't always happen. I'm at currently $1,934 and change as of this morning. I have an opportunity to earn yet another $2,000 in a week in terms of revenue from my Sprinter/cargo van transport operation. And while at one time earlier this year that would have been a milestone, it's become commonplace. It is a number that I'm accustomed to reaching now. It is a number that I communicated earlier in the year that I was looking to reach, and so it is what it is. But the pace and volume by which I have gotten to $1,934 and change has been not like in some other weeks. It has been a week. It's come at a rate that has caused me much concern. Now, I've shared from time to time when I've had my moments of concern, and oftentimes it usually means it's a sleepless night. And that sleepless night for me was Thursday night going into Friday morning. So that would have been Thursday night, November 2nd, going into Friday morning, November 3rd. And somehow I woke up at like 2:30 in the morning, and I'm thinking about what strategy that I can employ to kind of dig myself out of the hole. Now, at that point, I had the business had generated $1,070 worth of revenue. Some folk would be like, hell yeah, I take that any day. But again, when you've gotten accustomed to certain numbers and you're used to taking care of things at a certain rate based on that volume of dollars earned, it becomes, it's adjusting down is not as easy as it sounds. Well, fortunately, I managed to book a load from the Charlotte area to the Atlanta area that ultimately paid me $500. And then while en route to Atlanta, I also managed to stack a light freight app opportunity, a home improvement opportunity that paid an additional $32.40. So for altogether, that day, the business generated $532 plus in revenue, and kind of brought me out of the ditch that I thought I was in. And then yesterday, Saturday, November 4th, 2023, had somewhat of a similar day in which how opportunities kind of came about, in that I managed to book a brokered opportunity. It was a short run from North Carolina up into Pulaski, Virginia, and then that one paid $250. And when I returned back into the Columbia area, I managed to connect 3 DoorDash opportunities that paid $82.02. So altogether earned $332 and change. And so I feel a little better knowing that some things are going to be taken care of tomorrow and on Tuesday based on revenue that's been generated. And so when I think of it is what it is, I think of, as I entered into the weekend, another reason for concern was that I had some accounts receivables that are still out there. They're still out there, but going into Friday, that amount was like $2,200. There was an account receivable from a load that I completed. It was one in which Come to find out, I didn't do my due diligence. And with my factoring company, in fact, if you're interested in knowing about that company or looking into factoring, if you're beginning to do brokered opportunities or you're looking to change into having your money factored, here's a link to here's the company, OTR Solutions, and there's a link in the description below. As always, I didn't do my due diligence, and come to find out, they're not among the companies that OTR Solutions has on their approved list. And so I had to sweat it out with these people, with them paying me, doing a quick pay, an Intuit quick pay, and there was a miscue on my part. I gave them a wrong account number off by a digit, and so there was a lot of drama with that. Bottom line is that the guy called me on Friday after I explained to him initially, at least what my bank had told me. If the numbers don't match, it's going to kick it back, and you'll get a notification. Well, we didn't know, and so we contacted Intuit, and and that was like an hour-long phone call. And then come to find out, again, as I mentioned, he called me and told me that, okay, it kicked it back. What is the correct account number? As I told him, it was off by a digit, and so he put it in. He said that I should see it Monday, I should see it Monday, November 6, 2023, but it actually showed up yesterday morning, as of Friday, November 3rd. So that was a nice chunk of change that kind of helped in offsetting. In fact, this is where I get it with the it is what it is part. You've got account receivables out there, but you still got things you got to take care of meantime, and that you got to find ways of earning revenue to fill that gap or that void until that money comes in. And that's a constant thing with businesses. If you recall, in an earlier segment of the Gig Geezer, I shared how one of my group benefits, group health insurance, group ancillary benefits customers, they were like my main cash cow. They accounted for like $2,000 a month, and one of the problems they had was their account receivables, where people weren't paying them on time, and they still had things to take care of, and ultimately they closed their doors behind that. So here I am, pretty much one-hand operation. I mean, truth be said, I eat what I kill, and it's like everything is on a day-to-day basis, and that's the way a lot of us are here on YouTube. We're doing shit on a day-to-day basis, and we're just hoping to try to stay stay a half a step, at most 1 or 2 steps ahead of the bill collector. And that's the way it is for me. But yet I've managed to do that. I've yet to be behind on anything. I've always paid on time, and in some cases, and in a lot of cases, I'm able to start paying ahead. So fortunately, the business has put me in that position. Fortunately, perhaps you could say my hard work has put me in that position. But the biggest thing is having the revenue to be in that position. So, yeah. So when I saw that deposit yesterday morning, that was a big sigh of relief. So, but still, I got to earn money meanwhile. That's what I'm getting at. It is what it is. I know I spent a lot of time talking about that, but I'm sharing a part of the business operation that I know a lot of people don't want to talk about. These are things that we're all thinking about when we're out here. And I think these are things that affect people's thinking as to why they make some of the choices that they make. I have tried not to let that force me to make thirsty decisions. I have tried to run this operation, this enterprise, the same way as I have done doing gig food delivery work, where I have been very vociferous about not being thirsty, and as I have doing these mini segments of the Gig Geezer operating this Sprinter/cargo van. I have not let that dictate to me taking bad runs, taking bad freight, taking bad orders. That's what I'm getting at. So for me, it is what it is in that respect. So, I'm actually outside of a Lowe's right now, about to go inside and pick up this quick opportunity that get me started. My goal today, from this point forward, is to hopefully end up around $2,150 earned in revenue for the week. Is it realistic? I don't know, because I have seen a significant drop off in the volume of last mile gig app opportunities in the Columbia, South Carolina metropolitan area. And based on what I've been hearing, that is also the case with other people. There is the gig food delivery stuff out there, and I'll be turning those on in a few minutes. The DoorDash, the Grubhub, the Uber Eats, and the Instacarts. At a minimum, I want to see over a minimum of $2,000 earned, which is going to be possible. I would be okay if I'm over 2,100, but with me being out here as I am, I'm going to look to try to make it a minimum $200 in this van today. So I'll get back with you once we've kind of moved along forward with today. To get you caught up. All right, I was in the parking lot of the Lowe's, and the order that I picked up and completed was real easy. I mean, this is really easy. It was a closet wood rack pole, along with the holders, and that opportunity earned me $57.01. Now I'm in the parking lot of this plaza doing a Uber Eats order that's showing an offer of $17.08. So that's where I'm at. $17.08 will bring me an addition to the 5701. 5701 gets me right now to $1,991. The 1708 will get me over 2 G's for the week, and about 1/3 of the way of the goal that I'd like to accomplish for today. I am resuming action. Now, I accepted probably about 15, almost 20 minutes ago, an Instacart, 20 items. The offer amount is $25.25. I have my streaks in which I get gun shy with Instacart because of how customers love to trash you and give you less than desirable ratings just because they can. And that's what happened to me several weeks back. I had just happened to check back on the app, and I believe back on October 18, I did multiple Instacart orders that day. And 2 customers, one rated me a 4-star, the other one rated me a 3-star, dropping my rating from 4.95 down to 4.91. There's nothing in there where I missed an item or did something. At least there was no notation of me doing something wrong with them. It could be that it was out of retaliation because I fired both of them in that. If you check out this segment of the Gig Geezer, this is more than a year ago, like a year and a half ago. I did one where I said I uploaded a segment in which I spoke of how Instacart allows us to fire customers. We can block them, and I know I blocked 2 customers, and it could be that they were customers whom I blocked that gave me poor ratings. So it was like the feelings mutual then. I don't know, but I'm doing one now, 20 items from Lowe's. Lowe's is a place that does not, on the app, it does not tell you where the items are located on the aisle. So you have to know by experience where to go in Lowe's to find the items. Otherwise, it could be a long experience. Now, if this order pays as much as $25.25, that will put me at $99 and change for the day. And then for the week, that would put me at $2,033, $2,034 in revenue earned. Now, the stated goal today is to finish at about $2,150. I'd be okay at $2,100. We'll see. I just know, as I've mentioned already, that when I'm out here, what I would like to do when I'm working local and working gig apps, I'd like to earn at least $200 in a day. Kind of again, it's like back when I used to work out of just the F-150 prior to getting this van, and then I was just doing primarily gig food delivery apps. So I'll get back with you after I completed the shopping with the Lowe's order. Alrighty, mercifully, I am done with the shopping at Lowe's. There was an extra item. Actually, there were 2 items added to this order. The first one was some beefsteak tomatoes, and I didn't think anything of it. I mean, people always adding orders. The only time I have a problem is when customers, when they're really trying to game you, and they're trying to set, and this is just from my experience, they're trying to set you up to where you did not you did not deliver the items are missing and all that, these mass items are missing, and then they want to trash you and try to take back all the tip. I hope that's not the case with this particular person, but the other item that she added was the goat cheese that she initially ordered or requested was not available. So I sent her pictures of other goat cheeses that they had available, and she ended up getting 2. So there was an additional item, so there were 22 items that were shopped. And so the offer amount was $25.35. This order should pay at least $26. And if it does pay at least $26, then I'm over 100 for the day, and I'm at $2,034 in revenue earned for the week for the transport business. Now, I do want to take this time out. I ran into a subscriber and a colleague. I'm going to call her a colleague because she's out there putting in her grind every day. I haven't seen her in a while, but Miss Melody, I just want to acknowledge Miss Melody. She told me that she earned over $300 yesterday doing mostly Instacart and DoorDash. I mean, there was a time on Instacart as late as even into 2022 where you could earn, if you caught the right opportunities, it was highly conceivable to earn 200, 300 in a day on Instacart if you really worked it. And also, it could have been done before noon, definitely like in 2020 and 2021. But she's trying to diversify things. She shared with me that it's easy to get into somewhat of a habit and a routine of working 1 or 2 apps, and then I'm just going to add that what happens is you get stubborn or you get too complacent, and then you're banging your head against the wall wondering why aren't things happening when there are other apps out there. In fact, I know I've been very consistent with this by saying, at least in the Columbia, South Carolina metropolitan area, you need to be on as many apps as you can to make the money that you aspire to make. So, what I'll do is get back with you with the next delivery opportunity. Hopefully, I'm going to get to that number. I keep talking about it, but hopefully I'll get the 2,150 for the week. Definitely what I want to do is at least 2,100. So I'll get back with you. All right, I just stopped here in this plaza, and to the right of me is my next delivery opportunity, which is a Uber Eats. The offer amount is for $17.57. It's at an Asian restaurant that I'm more so familiar with, having done multiple catering opportunities. In fact, the last time I came here, the catering opportunity I did earned me $130 on that day. But again, they know me for coming in here with multiple bags and all that stuff, being prepared for their orders and so forth. But $17.57 will put me at about $118 for the day, and at $2,050 for the week in terms of revenue. One thing that I'll say about doing local stuff, mostly gig apps, is that you have to kind of reacclimate your mind to thinking with the gig apps. One thing with having now worked load boards, I'm looking at load boards first, then gig apps. It used to be last mile apps first, then gig food delivery apps second, and then load boards or brokered opportunities third. That's all kind of jumbled up now. Brokered opportunities, load boards first, last mile gig delivery apps second, and now gig food delivery apps third. That's usually the way it goes. But on today, when most load boards, most brokered opportunities are very slow, they may start trickling in later in the day. It's whichever one comes up first. If it's the last mile one, I'm after it. If it's a gig food delivery app, I'm giving it consideration. In fact, I should say I'll give consideration to both of them so long as they make sense. So I'll get back with you once I've completed this opportunity or at the next delivery opportunity that I've accepted. Alrighty. As this day would kind of unfold, I was about to stop and record some additional content, trying to set things up for, I guess, later in the day, or what may be for the conclusion of this week. And it just so happened where I stopped at is like one of my hangout places. I'm not going to call it a hot spot, but it's a hangout place that I would go oftentimes, and damn it, I just drove over a fucking pothole that I hate. It's a place that I will often stop to either regroup or try to set up to catch opportunities. It's a part of town that I like to work. But that said, I happen to I happen to accept a DoorDash order that offered $10.50. Normally, I don't really accept $10.50 orders these days. But I felt like, okay, what the fuck? I'm gonna do that one, and then just call it halftime after that. Well, the order actually paid a little more, $11.25, bringing me to $130 and change for the day, and $2,000 and just south of, just a tick under $2,065 in revenue earned for the week. As I was leaving the DoorDash pickup, an Instacart came across, and I thought I had grabbed it, but apparently somebody else had grabbed it. But then a few moments later, it came back out, and it's an Instacart from Public, place that I like to shop at because the Instacart app really is easy to work in that place. 9 times out of 10, you're going to find everything that you're looking for in that location, and that's from the app. And this particular location is usually well stocked. So while it's showing 31 items, I'm not really worried about that. These are all mostly produce items, stuff that you can get in, get out, and go about your business. $24 and change offer. If everything is there, and if the tip does go through, it should earn me $24 and change, as I mentioned, and put it and bring the business's revenue to about $2,090 for the week. Now, that brings an interesting scenario. I'm not going to stop short at $10, but what it brings the scenario is that more than likely I'll be coming back out this evening, though. But because the clocks have gone back an hour, I may not have the daylight to document what goes down. So when I complete this order, I'm going to kind of wrap things up, as I mentioned about the topic being it is what it is. Some additional thoughts about how when you have to accept how things are what they are. My doing gig apps today, working local, is a reality. It is what it is. One of the good things about working when you're working local like this, and I've mentioned I would rather work apps and be in situations that do pay to where I don't have to drive as many miles as I do when I do brokered opportunities. The other thing is that I don't spend as much money. If I were to really have the right volume of local opportunities and so forth, I may put money in the tank every other day, every third day. It all depends on what all you're doing, though. But the fact of the matter is, I'm getting to a number that is basically 70% of what I did last week. Another truism, another fact about with anything, be it that you're working out of your personal vehicle. Like I'm looking in front of me, a Kia Forte. In front of me, over to my left, a Ford Explorer. To my right here, a Chevy Suburban, and to my immediate right, an F-150. Or even if it's your salvage title vehicle. The fact of the matter is that you're gonna have weeks of production that are really nice, and then you're gonna have weeks of production that aren't nice. You're gonna have days of production that are really nice and days of production that aren't nice. Those are facts. It is what it is. Alrighty, I am back here at the gig compound. It is halftime for me. I am looking to go back out in about another hour and a half, 2 hours. As a recap, I'm at exactly at $2,089 for the week in terms of revenue generated by this business. Just tick under $2,090 for the day. After 5 hours, I'm at $155. Nothing really to be jumping up and down about, but I'm making progress. Probably better than what I'm doing about what I expected of myself today. But the Instacart order that I completed, it appears it's going to be paying $24.96. It looks like the tip amount was a set amount, regardless of a couple of refunds that I had to do. There was rotisserie chicken that was not ready, and I had to refund that. And then there was a packet of frozen corn that was not available. But we'll see. I'll post those I will post the final numbers I will post the final numbers for today here, as with the other delivery opportunities that I am likely to complete during the second half. They'll all be here. But as I close out thoughts for this segment of the Gig Geezer, I sensed, now with the gig food apps, things had already been helter-skelter throughout the year. But with the last mile gig apps, there were some apps that had debuted in my market, for example, that were pretty hot and they were paying well. But those apps started cooling off. I noticed them starting to cool off in August. And whereas there were some people who were kind of convincing themselves that, things should pick up even more once we get past Labor Day, because most people be back, most schools will be back in. People will have kind of recuperated from the outlaying of money for school, but it didn't happen. It really didn't happen. And then in October, there were people who spoke of like there should be some type of bump in October, and it really didn't happen. What I saw was the volume of last mile opportunities begin to decrease. And in my market, for example, there's only for today, for example, there's only been 2 freight orders that have come across the phone screens. I got one of them. The other one was in another county over, and that was for like $18.53. Not going there for $18.53. But what's also has taken place in recent weeks, like on certain apps, and I'll say it outright, frayt has cut its rates. Frayt has gotten in line with other apps now. Frayt used to be like everyone's little pocket weapon there. When they would look forward to that $200 hit or that $100 plus hit. No, Frayt is coming out with these $40, $30, and $40 opportunities, and they've cut their rates to where they're more in line, like with Rody, with Bungie, with GoShare, and the only one that's really shitty still when it uses the same aggregator is Point Pickup and DoorDash, and I haven't seen them on Uber Eats now lately, but Frayt has come down significantly. Some of the orders that I've seen used to go for $200, at a minimum $100, but not now. So and are there still opportunities out there? Yes, I've seen a few opportunities for several $100s. In fact, I shared in this segment of the Gig Geezer that I had one for a couple $100, but those are not coming from the same retail outlets. Frayt had a contract with Lowe's, as with a lot of these other apps, and these apps have competed for that aggregator's doling out of orders and so forth. And so, again, they've come in line with everybody else, it appears. So my bashing Bungie, while it was still warranted, you have to be careful with how you bash Bungie now, because Bungie, I mean, all right, if Bungie is offering 2 people $48 to haul 2,400 pounds of product, that's reason to bash them. But if they're offering something that's $50 and you're hauling a couple hundred pounds, that's pretty much in line with that. That's in line with Frayt and some other apps. So you just have to keep that in mind. Now, you have to keep that in mind, and pretty much have to chalk it up to it being what it is. It is what it is. The biggest question that I have to myself and probably to you is, are we willing to accept the reality of our respective situations without flinching? Today, for me, without flinching, I had to accept the fact that if I wanted to get to where I wanted to be, I spoke of in the onset, my goal is to try to finish up at about $2,150 in revenue for this week. I had a sense that it wasn't going to be off of the last mile apps. I'm going to have to grind it out doing the gig food apps. Things are going to happen at a slower pace or at a slower volume of money but I will eventually get there if I put myself in the right position. But that's a reality. That's a reality that I had to accept. Are you willing to accept the reality that some of these apps aren't going to be paying as you thought they were when they were hot? Are you willing to accept the fact that, hey, I need to put myself in a better position by giving myself more options? These are only answers that you can answer for yourself. These are only answers that I can answer for myself. I've kind of shared what some of the things that I've been contemplating and deliberating. Hopefully, it will kind of serve as an example of someone who may be, in the opinion of some, doing well, but at the same time is dealing with the same thoughts, dealing with the same issue, dealing with the same responsibilities as you are. So, with that, if you like the content that's been provided in this segment of the Gig Geezer and any other segment, hit that subscribe button, give my content a thumbs up, share my content among others, and I definitely welcome your comments in the section below. I'm Inwood Lane, and as always, may your grind and may your hustle continue.